coming up after 8 o'clock. We will be, Jane Riley will be just wafting through the studio very briefly, and George Thompson, South Australian rose breeder, will be coming into the studio to have a chat. Well, I reckon almost a year ago we spoke to our next guest. He came in with a wonderful invention. I'll let him describe it, but I've sort of, through keeping in contact with him, been on a bit of a tour as he's been promoting it. It just goes to show that if you've got a good idea, it just doesn't get out there in the marketplace because you think it's a good idea. You've got to get out there and sell your good idea, and this gentleman's doing just that at the moment. Peter Kuhlmann, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Michael. Good morning, Neil.
G'day, Pete.
You've lost a little bit more here.
Haven't we?
Haven't we? Pete, tell us about your invention. And about 12 months ago you came in?
Yeah, probably about 12 months. 12 months ago. Well, what it is, I invented and manufacture a little stand for pot plants and gardens. And we'll stick to the gardening side for the time, but it's a little stand that you put your pot plants on. There's two different types. One's a round stand and one's an oblong one, and really we call them garden pallets. And you put your pot plants on, it keeps stuff off the ground, you get some airflow underneath, you can hose underneath your pot so you don't stain your tiles, and the beauty of it is we've also designed a little hand truck. It's a little bit special that folds up, but what you can do now is move your big pot plants around. So if you've got a 180 kilogram pot plant and you want to move it, you just slide the hand truck underneath, wheel it to where you want it to go to get it out of the sun or into the shade or out onto the paving so you can get some rain on it and whatever. Yeah,
it's a very good invention, and I've been using it now since then.
Good.
I did bend one because I put a pot on it in the wrong angle, but that was only one little minor thing. But you're right, you can move your big pots around, particularly if we were on a deck. Going to paint your deck, you just move all your big ones over one side and paint that, and then back they go.
Well, the beauty of it for high-rise buildings, you can now landscape a high-rise. One of the problems you couldn't before is that you stain your patios, and quite often you weren't allowed to put plants on. And also if you had a barbecue or whatever, you needed to move your pots, you couldn't. Well, now if they're all on pallets, you can move them out of the sun. You can, if you have a barbecue, move them all up to one end. 2 minutes you can move 10 pot plants back to where they want to be.
Okay, so what have you been doing in the last 12 months? I catch up every now and then, but you're here, you're there, you're promoting this and that.
Yeah, well, we've been pushing them. We've been advertising a little bit in some gardening magazines, and that's fairly expensive, so you've got to be a little bit careful on how much money you spend. And we put advertise in the garden magazines. We've been to a lot of garden shows, and we've started to get some very good positive results from all over Australia, as a matter of fact. When we sell them on the web at the moment, and we get orders from Darwin, Karratha, Queensland, Sydney, Melbourne, everywhere. So it's all starting to work. It's proven the product. We've sold several thousands of them. We haven't had one back or one complaint or one, nobody's complained about the price. So we know we've got the product right, it works, the price is right. So now it's a matter of just keep plugging away and making it happen.
Now, what sort of weight can they take?
We rate them at 180 kilograms. That's the pot plant and the hand, the pot garden pallet and the hand truck. Now, anybody that's moving 180 kilogram pot plant is on the brink of doing a real bad back. So it's got tons of capacity and to be able to move even the heaviest pots.
Now, you don't have to have the trolley, do you? You've got another system.
Yeah, you do. For the lighter pots and 180 kilograms, you could still move, but we've designed a small handle. It's a little handle that slips underneath the round pallet only, and you can just drag a pot plant and the garden pallet around your patio on a bitumen surface or whatever. It's not too good on lawn, although you can do that, but over a wooden decking or concrete or paving, it's fine. And because of what the product's made out of, polypropylene, you don't scuff the deck, right, which is pretty important. Yeah.
Peter, just for our listeners' sake, some of the things you've had to do to promote this product. I mean, you just don't get a good idea, get something made, and then just sit back and wait for people to buy it, do you?
No,
it's been
Yeah, it's pretty hard work, and I feel very sorry for people that invent a good product and they haven't got the push or the finance behind it to get there. I've been fairly lucky, but even I've got a bit of a marketing background, so I've been there, done it. But anybody that hasn't, you just got to keep door knocking. And I was probably pretty lucky in the early stages of the garden pallet. I got in touch with an old mate of mine, Jeff Fuller from the Gardening Association. Jeff introduced me to June, and then she introduced me to you guys, and then Kim from the nursery down at my Ponga, and so on. All of a sudden you build up this relationship with a whole group of people, and they will say, hey, look, go and see this guy and whatever. But you just got to keep plugging.
But the product's got to be good.
You've got to have the product.
You've got to have the product.
And then I was a bit lucky. I went and saw the Bunnings, and Bunnings were absolutely wrapped in the product, and they're putting it in from next weekend. The garden pallet will be in the Bunnings stores as well as being able to buy it on the web. Now, those are real plus.
Peter, they come in terracotta and black and
yeah, we've got two colours, only terracotta and black, and even the blue pots, and there's a lot of coloured pots around now, and you'll find that even the coloured pots will suit, the black garden pallets will suit. So we don't envisage at this stage going into any other colours because it does suit.
And the sizes?
There's only one size of the garden pallets, a 320 mil diameter. So you need pots around that size, or bigger.
Yes.
And then you've got the mini pallet, which is about, probably for the people at home, the easiest way, it's about the same size of a carton of beer. And so you can put your long garden pots, you can have the oblong pots that can go on those and hang over the edge. And then just move them wherever you want.
So, and you've been getting into other industries with your pallets too.
Yeah, well, when we initially designed the mini pallet, and that came first, I designed it because I saw a mate of mine hurt his back moving cartons. And
cartons are terrible to move, aren't they?
Well, they're shocking. It doesn't. If you've got a stack of cartons, say beer cartons, everybody knows what they are, and you need to put a hand truck underneath, you've got to lean them to slide the hand truck underneath. And if it's up against a wall, it's a bit hard. So we originally designed the mini pallet for moving cartons, and we're a bit lucky. We got into Australia Post. They took them on, and they're in good percentage of the Australia. That sounds pretty clever now, but that took years. And then most of the nurseries in the wineries, in the cellar door sales, and we're getting. I got an order the other day for 45 pallets from a library in Wangaratta.
A library.
Yeah, and they move now all their cartons, when they come in on a truck, go straight on a mini pallet. And the girls now, you don't have to be a heavyweight. You can get young people, fine people that can move 80, 120 kilograms with a pallet and a hand truck. So
cartons are the move, aren't they? It's a dead weight of box, isn't it? Yeah. What about wine? You mentioned wine. I mean, that'd be perfect for cartons of wine.
Yeah, well, there's an RSL club up in Queensland. They've got 450 pallets, mini pallets. And they bought them for a couple of reasons. One, they're restricted in getting to their cold room, so they can't put the big pallets in. And these don't cut across big pallets, but they support them, if you like. Once you break down a big pallet of cartons and you put them on a mini pallet. But this RSL club up in Queensland, they break when their wine comes in, or their beer, they break it down put it on mini pallets, wheel it into the cold room. But they've saved a fortune by breaking where the cartons have broken or the floors have been wet. Now the cartons don't get contaminated. So it's going right through industry. If we'd designed the round one first, people relate to that. They can see how that fits on garden pots and whatever. But it's all starting to come, and it's very, very exciting. And I forget the last 5 years.
No, Pete, it's always good to have you in, and we think we've played a small role in promoting them. So a great South Australian product. I mean, this could go international, couldn't it?
Well, we've just sent our first order of 2,000 to the UK, and we've got an agent over in the States, an agent who is on the ground. He's not a guy that say, hey, give me a bag of money, we can do it for you. And the mini pallet and the garden pallet was exhibited in the Chicago hardware store about 3 weeks ago, and that could be anything. And it's all made, designed, owned in Adelaide, so which is a bit of a buzz.
Well done. So, Peter, if people would like to visit your website, that's probably the easiest way.
The easiest way, we've got a couple of videos on the web page, on the website, gardenpallets.com.au. If you go to the website, click on the little videos, and you'll get exactly what it does, and then all the how to order if you want, or all the details, the sizes, colours, they're all on there.
Well done, Peter. Keep plugging away.
We'll keep going, Michael. You know, one day I'll get some black ink in the bank.
Yeah, you'll be right. Someone like Chet Pallets or something like that'll come along and buy you out.
Yeah. Well, you know, hopefully.
It's gardenpallets.com.au. That's for Ray and anyone else that missed that. Gardenpallets.com.au. Peter Kuhlmann's been our special guest.
It's right on 4 minutes to 8. Michael Keelan's Easter long weekend till 9.